1, 2. Yo.
Now we come to the payoff. Mic
check.
This is a test of the emergency broadcast system.
Food is a metaphor for information.
Yo, get your head around this. The concept, 2 men about this. Trissy sack effect, freckles, respect rebels. We'll take the stairs, you stay there. It's next level. Put up the frame, they couldn't see the vision. I'll take the blame when it comes to fruition. From 4 to 3, and then we lost 1. I won't cause a scene cause camera's on, son.
It's a fast-food podcast.
You look up, understand. You're in the dark with the sharks, it's a bloodbath. We got the mics, it's a fight, had a tough start. Now got the stripes, it's in sight, it's all love calm. Morgan Heights, it's food for the mind. A feast for the palate, you can eat the design. Serial killer with a splash of cold milk. These men are built away lactic acid hold skills. Yo, give me the space, we need the mic. You know the vibes. Camera, action, lights. We do what we do, we say what we like. It's the FFE. It's the FFE. It's the FFE. It's the FFE.
And then it's just like, I'm not even mentally preparing myself, physically having to prepare myself because I know what's waiting for me. And my grandmother, God bless her soul, she was so slick with it. There's one time my grandmother let me come in after her madness, didn't say nothing to me. She goes, oh yeah, Dre baby, your food's there, boom, 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 don't forget to shower and, you know, cool, granny, all right. And I kept I'm answering in a way of like, oh man, she's gonna lick me in my head soon. Nothing happened. I had my food, boom, went to sleep, bro. I remember I just woke up. My alarm didn't go off because we didn't have a clock. We didn't have like phones on it. Like we didn't have that then. I just woke up, boy. It wasn't because I wanted to. It's because I had to. I was getting beats in the bed. Yeah. My grandma was waiting for me to sleep, bro. And imagine in a deep sleep and you're waking up just getting beats.
Oh, yeah. I got beat in the bath, bro.
Nah, that hurts as well. That water off your skin.
What? Because my mum couldn't.
That hot water with the heat of the.
I got too fast because I got too fast for my mum. So she's like, all right, cool. I can pin him down in the bath, man. Cool. He's got to have a shower or wash.
And your life just flashes.
And you're slipping.
Can't get up.
You can't get up. Yeah, the soap's flying everywhere, bro. It's long.
Let's talk about that.
It's long.
I like. It's a very interesting subject that you just stumbled on in terms of community. Yeah. Because I feel the same way. I think we've lost it, right? We've lost that community
100%.
feeling, that community vibe. But what I've always been interested in is we mentioned it off mic, is characters, right? Yeah. In the music industry, you deal with different people, you deal with different characters, you deal with different people from different backgrounds, religions,
ideologies,
because they might not be the artist, they might be the engineer, they might be they might be the person that owns the building. They might be, just what I'm saying. They might be family members that are hanging around.
The songwriter, the stylist. There's just so many things that come into play for an artist to become an artist.
Yeah, so there's that. So I feel like when we are creative, like we're creative people, or we work with creative people. You have to be less community minded in the sense of what your objective is. Your objective is to get somewhere with like-minded people, whoever they are. Because if you start putting your personal feelings into it, or you start putting race into it, that could actually be your downfall.
I think there's that, but there's also an element of, like, I've always seen music particularly as like a thing of, like it's a voice of a people, or voice of a era, or voice of something socially that's going on. And it kind of runs through everything: fashion, politics, the whole 9 yards, right? And just by that and with that, it's like, okay, cool. That requires collaboration, right? Because you're not just speaking on an individual or individualism.
Yeah.
You're speaking on a people or a culture or, you know, something that kind of affects everyone.
A lifestyle.
Yeah, a lifestyle. So for an artist to get to a certain point, and like I think with most things, you have to have a form of collaboration, right? And I think where we're at now, which is like individualism and capitalism is all like make money, it's drawing out the collaboration out of a lot of stuff, right? So like before you guys were talking about independent women and like relationships, again, a collaboration, right? So we can be independent minded, but we also have to understand that there's forms of collaboration that have to happen in order for the boat to move forward.
Right.
But people aren't getting that. So what you'll find is like on Twitter or social media, you'll see a lot of artists saying, I'm independent, I'm doing it off my own back. Yeah. But even those people need other people like me to just throw stuff at them and chip in and help pull them along while they're in that. It's me by myself.
Yeah,
out here.
I feel that's I think that whole independent thing is almost like the Loch Ness Monster. It's a mythical creature or word, sorry, because, okay, there's if you're doing it independently, I'm expecting you to be like from ground zero. You've got a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 5 and another job to help with the finances, and you're literally paying for everything yourself. You're if you're an artist, you're recording it yourself, so you're paying for studio time, you're mixing it yourself. All of that independent. That's how I envision independently, but that is very, very rare because you always need someone to help you along the way, and it doesn't need to be financially. It could just be someone saying, "Yo, you want to be a music, you want to be an artist manager." I believe you could do it because I've seen how you organize your day-to-day stuff. I see how easy it is for you to organize things between the man them. I see how easy it is for you to make sure that everything that's spoken about that could potentially be used as gospel is logged or in like emails or messages or stuff like that. So you've got all your receipts and this, that, and the third. So there's little things like that. So it's just mad how some people really tried to drive home. They had nobody help them to get to where they is. And it's like, well, you kind of do, because if I like your music, effectively, I've helped you get on because I've told my brethren in the group, WhatsApp group, yo, you need to go check out this Morgan guy because he's got bars. Then you got like 4 or 5 new people listening to your stuff, and then that's how it grows. And then someone retweets your tweet on Twitter, or someone puts up a picture of them streaming your song on Twitter or IG or whatever. That's all help. You see what I'm saying?
No one is ever truly independent.
Yeah.
And that's both personally and professionally, right?
Yeah.
Like, in certain respects, we all need someone to take a chance or punt on us, right? Like, when I started, someone took a chance on me.
Yep.
And I learned, and I sat down, and I kind of took in things, right? So I can't then turn around and be like, I got it out the mud.
Yeah.
Now, I may have had to do things like
Of course.
walk to the studio because I didn't have money to get there.
Right, of
and
course.
those kind of things.
Them
like,
things there.
100%.
Yeah.
But I still didn't do it by myself.
Right, yeah.
Someone said, listen, I'm giving you an opportunity, figure it out.
Yeah.
Of how you're going to make that work, but this is the opportunity that's here. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll figure it out. But I think a lot of artists have this thing, like even Russ, who's done it seemingly off his own back. He's had help.
Of
Like,
course.
He did a deal with Columbia, so he at some point he wasn't independent. Right. He had his friends around him, early days, helping him record and studio in his house. And do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, collaboration is the key across the board. And with everything. But I don't know. I just feel like we're in a state of individualism at the moment, where it's just like it's drawing the life out of everything.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Let's expound on that. But first of all, I'm going to introduce our guest.
I mean, it's only right.
This is a fast food podcast. Drizzy Sackafet Freckles.
Morgan Twerk, Franklin Heights.
Food for thought, soul food for the mind, and a feast for the palate. We have a special guest today. I want to give a round of applause to Ross Wilson in the building. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Welcome,
you,
sir.
you. I was asking earlier, how come with the fast food podcast we don't have wings or something?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
said.
we need to organise that.
that
You're
might be a
right.
vibe.
You're right.
That
But I
might
think
be-
it's a vibe.
Yeah.
I think food's a great connector.
It is.
100%.
Along with
It is.
music, 'cause it's
'Cause
definitely a
I
great
am
connector.
hungry, brethren.
100%.
Yeah, we need to get some. We need to. Yeah.
Well, this is let's start this conversation off with first and foremost. How did you start? How did you become a manager?
So, long story, very, very short. For me, music has always been that communication thing when I didn't have the words.
Right.
So from young, I was into music and poetry and just writing and those things. But verbally, I couldn't speak to people because I was super shy.
Right.
I used to get bullied. Like you said,
Yeah.
like I
Yep.
moved to the Caribbean at
Yep.
4.
Nice.
Coming in with my
You know the
accent.
vibes of this guy's speaking to the choir right here, right?
Getting called names.
Where from?
I was born in the UK. So when I moved over to Grenada, it was like 1989,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
99
Spice Island.
1989 or 1988, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was coming off of a revolution. So, like, everything was quite simple.
Yes.
So I'm coming in with my UK attitude and
Yeah,
all
of
that
course.
stuff. And when I moved, I was super confident.
Mm-hmm.
But just by kind of getting called names and being bullied, I kind of went into
humbles you a
myself.
bit. Yeah.
So then my communication towards music,
yeah.
and it's always been there. But I used to sing, so
Right,
that
okay.
was my thing.
Okay.
Sing.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
You look like you got the R&B bag on. You got the
Come on.
R&B swag.
Come on.
I see it.
At one point, like early days when Tyrese was doing the Coca-Cola advert, I was like, yeah, that's gonna be me one day. Yeah, but yeah, no.
He's like,
Yeah, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I kind of meandered, got into soca music at one point.
I was waiting for that.
Got into soca music at one point, developed some really cool acts.
Yeah.
Mr. Killer,
Oh yeah, for real.
Lava Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Just heavily involved in their early career.
Nice.
Then I moved up here in about 2005, and it wasn't even off my own back.
Right.
Okay.
Like Hurricane just came and whoosh.
Yeah.
I was like,
Be
you know
like
what?
that. Yeah, it's time to go.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back to uni. Let me just get my stuff together.
Right.
Got up here, started working in the studio, and it goes back to me saying people give opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, somehow I got connected to a studio in East London where a lot of the early grime lot used to record J2K, Wiley,
Gotcha. Yeah.
All Deep, Blessed Beats, a bunch of them. So I
Yeah.
started working in there. But I used to live in Northwest London. I used to get from Northwest all the way to East.
Yeah.
And them times they had like the 25 bus, like the Bendy bus. So yeah.
That was your commute.
That was my commute.
Was it the studio near Limehouse Link?
Yeah. So
Legendary.
worked as an engineer for like probably 4 years.
Really?
Yeah. So like they recorded Where's My Rollers, all that stuff was kind of done there.
Nice. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool. And then just by kind of being around,
Yeah.
I learned how to like make beats
Nice,
and
of course.
songwriting
Yeah,
stuff. And then I was just like, at one point, I moved to LA. I was like, yeah, this is it. This is my thing.
Yeah.
And then LA didn't work out how I expected it to work out. So I was just like, I moved back.
What was your
Experience.
experience in LA? What was it about? Why did you go?
You know what? I went to kind of see what, because I was working over here. I was like, I feel like I've kind of capped out.
Right.
Because I didn't really want to do pop music. I didn't want to do I wanted to go where, like, I wanted to do rap and hip hop and
course,
R&B.
course.
I was like, yo, let me just.
Yeah.
Right, I couldn't do the funky stuff. I couldn't do like the garage, the grime. So I was like, let me go to LA and see what's up. So
course.
I moved out there, connected with a few people, and it was just like, I think it was the cutthroatness of it all, of as in constantly submitting and working and submitting beats and working and submitting beats, and then like not hearing back from people, and it's just like eventually like I got tired. I was like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
and in the process, I lost quite a bit of money trying to figure it out.
Of course, yeah.
There's some stuff I can't really talk about, but
That's cool.
But deals kind of went
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
Sour.
Like I got left off.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
And it started digging into my pocket, and I got jaded at that point. Was like,
Right. Yeah.
left the industry, moved back here, quit music, and randomly a friend called me one day and was like, "Yo, can you meet me?" He knew I had quit music, so he didn't say meet me at the studio. He said, "Just meet me."
Yeah, it's Jedi G.
Yeah. So I was like, "Hey, cool. Send the address." So I pull up and it's a studio. I'm like, "This
There we
motherfucker."
go. Yeah.
Right? Get to the studio. He's like, "I want you to meet this producer, whatever. I know you know so and so. Can you kind of broker something?" Me didn't think much of it. I was like, "Yeah, I'll make a call, whatever."
Yeah.
Made a call. Tutu's like, he's working with some guys out in New York. Got some placement stuff. And so then after that, my friend pulled me aside. He's like, "Look, I think you should do management." And I was like, What do you mean? He's like, "You've been through it.
Yeah.
You kind of know not what to, like, stuff to not do. Why don't you just kind of guide people down that path?" And I'm like, okay,
You put it like that.
cool. I can do that. I said, "But I don't know the business like that." He's like, again, it's that opportunity. It's like, present you with an opportunity, but you have to figure it out. Like, go learn the business. Like, all right, cool, I'll go learn the business. So I spoke to like a lot of people. I spoke to lawyers, accountants, and like artists who kind of made it, and like spent that whole year just learning. So when I came back into it, I was like, all right, cool. At that point, I had met some guys from South London at the studio. They were like, "Yo, let's put together a group." I was like, "I'm down."
Yeah.
So I know a bit about the business. I can do this. That group was Rough Copy.
Okay.
Yes.
So-
Yes.
They wanted to do what they went on to do. But I think, as egos go, they kind of fall apart.
As they do.
But yeah, I know a few things, Cynthia Revo in her early start.
Okay.
Done stuff with Mario Winans, Bragger Benz, Beanie Man. So things just started connecting.
Right.
Then 2020 happened. I kind of went back to the drawing board. I was like, all right, cool, you don't really want to do music management all your life. What do you really want to do? And then it's kind of been, from there, it's kind of getting artists that align with my character as a person,
Right.
rather than just looking at the talent and the money.
Check, yeah.
Right.
And then saying, cool, let's build something. Like, let's build not just like a short stint of 2 years, 5 years, but more so, let's build something that kind of makes sense over 10 year, 15 year. Like, let's build legacy. Let's build a company.
Right.
Like, let's treat it like a proper business. type
Right.
thing. And that's kind of where I'm at now. So, I'm guest lecturing at Westminster because I've always thought, how do I kind of pay it forward? Working with like Jamal Woon, who works with Flow.
Right. Okay. Big up Flo.
Shay Universe, who's doing some amazing stuff at the moment. She's just got a song out with a guy called Fabo, who's from the States. Song seems to be flying. So Shay's a misfit. Like, just bits and pieces. So
Right.
I'm in different, I'm a manager, so I'm in different things, not just music, but also like influencer stuff. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I always look for the opportunity to help that person grow within their thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So now you're developing more than anything else, or is it?
But that's what being a manager is. It's a form of coaching, right? So I have to kind of, because I think as people, we are woefully unself-aware of what we're actually capable of. And sometimes it takes someone from the outside saying, "Oh, you're good at X and Y and Z. Let's cultivate that."
Yeah.
Right? So, and that's what I do. I look at what people are good at, what they suck at. I'm just like, all right, cool, let this be the focus. And it's how we make money off of it. All right, cool, let's do that. Some artists get it, some artists don't. Because I think everyone kind of wants the camera on them.
Of course.
Social media, all that. So if I meet an artist and I'm like, I don't think you're an artist, I think you're a songwriter. Right? They may not take that well. They may not be like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Because so-and-so down the road told me my song is hot.
Yeah, but songwriters, they be getting some big bags.
This is what I'm saying. It's like, there's money out there, right? And I hear artists say this all the time, like, you know, lack of funding, lack of resource. And even though that may be true, I think just if we're talking like as people, we were made creative and we can always create opportunity.
Absolutely.
Sure. Right. So I think as a manager, my aim is to see you through a period of getting to the point where you believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And then showing you that you can do it, and then we go do it.
Yeah. Right.
Now, some of the artists get egos along the way, and it's like, it gets to the point where, I've done this by myself. And you're like, well, nah, you haven't.
Yeah.
Right? But I think as a manager, because we, and there's clauses in contracts that say this.
Right.
If we part ways, I can't talk ill of you.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that's happened over the years that I will probably never talk about, because I'm just like
clause in the contract.
It's a clause in the contract, and we're not just going to speak about it.
Yeah.
But artists, on the other hand, can be like, my manager bumped me.
Yeah, of course.
Not understanding your manager spent 50,000 to get you to your point, and all they're doing is taking their money back.
Right?
But because the manager's not going to be like, no, that's not true, or doesn't feel like he has to, or she has to jump to defend themselves.
Guilty by silence.
You know? We're guilty by silence. Like, labels get it, you know, publishers get it. They haven't done anything for me. Not understanding, goes back to self-aware comment, not understanding that you have a very big part to play in your success. Like, they can give you the platform, but what are you doing with it? Like, Apple, Google, they've given you the platform, but what are you doing with it? How are you driving people to that platform? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are you doing as an artist, as podcast people, you know, like, what are you doing to kind of drive your opportunity? Took me a while to get to that, by the way.
Because listening to you, Ross. I'm hearing a lot of self-awareness in your. I'm hearing a lot of growth. I'm hearing a lot of. I'm finding my way.
I'm learning from my experiences as well.
To get to where I am now, and educating myself on the business, educating myself on the.
Well, it's a constant learning thing, right? Like, I think with any profession, anything that you do, bar the really kind of mundane jobs like probably retail or baristas or like, and even with that, you still have to learn, like constantly learn. And that's just what it is. It's like every time I learn a lesson or a law changes or there's a new technology that I need to find out about, like it's a whole process of, okay, let me sit myself down and learn this, because if I don't, you get left behind kind of thing. So like even with the NFT stuff, like I went and I deep dive. I spoke to people in the space, like really in the space. And I came to the conclusion after speaking to them, like, this is probably like 5 years out. It's probably going to be of value to people at some point. But it's still about 5 years out. It still needs developing for me as a person. Right. That I don't have the capabilities to dive in it at this level because it will go over my head.
For sure.
So I'll wait till it gets to the point where I can digest it and cool. That's fine. Right. So
what the E word keeps coming up. We've seen it. It's as old as time. The E word, aka ego. Like, what do you think are the telling signs, or what do you think it is that contributes to the ego? Because I'd like to think that Brother Morgan and I, when we get to where we want to get to with this platform thing, and obviously we have to bring Georgia with us. Okay, cool. We're sober.
We'll take Joe with us.
We'll take Joe with us. But when we get to where we need to get to...
Where I go, you go. Where you go, I go.
I know. Well, he's like Air. That's his Jojo Air Montana. But like, I'd like to think that when the three of us get to where we want to get to with this pod, and this is not the only thing we want to do with this pod, this is just the foundation of other things we'll probably eventually want to do with it. But I'd like to think we'd all remain the same in regards to how we are in regards to thinking of the pod.
Yeah.
And me thinking of what JoJo's contribution to the pod is, as well as what Morgan's contribution to the pod is, as well as myself. when you're in a different space, based on where you started to where you are,
Yeah.
things will change. Like if you've won £500 million in the lottery, like straight away, your eating habits can't be the same as when you was on a 9 to 5.
New levels, new devils, man.
Yeah, right. But what do you think it is that contributes to the change in people's mentality or how they speak? Because I'm sure you've had artists speak to you like, oh yeah, Ross, well, I'm down for doing whatever you want me to do, you know, for me to get to where I need to get to them. Now, you're Ross, but who are you talking to? I'm the Donny that keeps the Donette that keeps the lights on. Ross, who you talking to like that, brethren? Don't forget where you come from, you know. It's all about me. I'm the star. You're like, how does what causes that?
So a long time ago, I figured if I was going to be a manager, one, it's got to be a selfless enterprise. Obviously, you need to make money from
Of course,
it, right?
yeah.
But it's got to be a selfless enterprise, as in I need to be of service to others.
Yeah.
I think that was, with me, I'm okay with that. Equally, I'm not a dickhead.
Of
So
course.
don't talk to me a
First
certain
and
way.
foremost, yeah.
Right. So I've had artists ask me, well, what have you done for me? Right. Walked away from the artist and being like, you know what? Not even in an egotistical way, like you're not gonna question what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. Like I know what I'm doing. And then the artist hasn't gone on to do anything and they're still trying to figure it out. Do you know what I mean?
Which is kind of what you was there to figure it out for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to ego, it's like I said, new levels, new devils, right?
Yeah.
I think the higher you go, the more you get exposed to. And the higher you go, the more intricate the personalities in the games get.
Right.
So for example, if I'm managing an artist and that artist sells 1 million records, the levels and the conversations that are going to be happening around that are completely different to what we knew before.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So it then boils down to how strong is that person's character,
Yeah.
right? Temptations come in many forms.
There are many.
And I always say to artists, not every opportunity is meant to be taken, especially if you have a clear goal for yourself.
Yeah.
So for example, if someone comes and says, we want to give you guys £1 million for the pod, or 100,000 for the pod.
No, 1 million sounds better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
1 million, right?
Yeah.
On the face of it, it sounds amazing.
1 million, yeah.
But every action has a consequence. So what does that £1 million come with?
That's right.
Are you making us exclusive to your platform so that...
But not even that. Are you now going to own the name?
Yeah. So you run and do your own
Are
thing.
we
and
just
then,
the faces? And then
Yeah,
at
yeah.
whatever point, if we get rowdy, you can just replace us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what does that money come with? And I think a lot of artists don't think like, well, what does that money come with?
Yeah.
They just see
The
pound
bag.
signs.
Yeah.
Right? So if someone says, yo, I'm going to offer you 150 bags, and I made this mistake. I got an artist signed to Sony. They paid him 150 bags. We thought, yo, we've made it.
Yeah.
YOLO. 2 years later, money's done.
Yeah.
He's gone back to what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right? I've gone back to what I'm doing. And you can only just sit like, yo, where did we
Go wrong.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, money, because it comes and it goes and it's transient, it's like, it can't be the focus.
Yeah.
So my thing to artists and creatives and anyone kind of doing anything creative, whether it be art, painting,
Right.
podcasting,
Fashion. Yeah.
is the consistency gets you the byproduct. The byproduct is the money.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're consistent, that comes. But I think ego doesn't allow people to be consistent. Because they get either hung up on the past or they get hung up on the future. And by that I mean they may have a catalogue of songs that they haven't released yet.
Yeah.
But every time they play them for people, it's like, yo, yeah.
I like that.
Hard.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So they sit on them. It's like, well, these are my best songs.
Yeah.
Right? Equally, you'll hear an artist say this. Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Or,
That's how I met this guy.
yeah.
I was like, oh, excuse me, what's your name? And he's like, do you know who I am? And I was like, well, Raw, okay.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, but somehow it's still stuck around. I don't know how he worked it out. He patterned it.
Well,
but yeah.
you figured out who he was.
Yeah,
innit?
I worked it
At
out.
the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's like when an artist says, "Well, do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
And like, I mean, to be fair, like I've come across influencers, people who've been on Love Island, and and they expect me to know who they are.
Yeah.
I don't watch Love Island, so I don't know who you are.
You
So
don't have
you
to tell
asking
me.
me, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
You're only gonna get one answer, which is no.
No.
Now, if you the music,
Yeah.
and you're like a CEO of a company,
Different.
or it's different because that's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like artists get caught up in the ego because the external validation overpowers the internal voice.
Right.
Right? So it's like if you guys get massive, right? You got
When?
when?
Yeah.
Intentional language and that.
Yeah.
When
Thank
you guys
you.
get massive and you got the deals with Apple or Spotify,
All of them.
you know, YouTube or whoever, right? And you're flying and you're doing the live events and all that, right? That external validation can be a lot.
Yes,
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Right?
100%.
And not from just a passing thing of you meet other people or people. It will show up massively.
Yeah.
Because it will show up as a vice.
Yes.
Right? So if you're an anxious person, you may start drinking or smoking a bit more. And then it becomes a thing where you're now not being able to function and focus on your thing. And that's why the ego is a dangerous thing, because you then think in your head, this ship doesn't move without me.
Yeah.
And I think over time, it's proven, like, look at boy groups and girl groups.
Yeah.
How many times they switched out members?
Yeah.
And been like, this ship gonna move with or without you. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's a dangerous thing, but at the same time, it's needed. Because if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that what you have to offer is the hottest shit ever, you get caught up in the mediocrity of it all.
Yes. 100%.
So, for example, I cuss Kanye all the time.
Yep. We do.
I understand, you know, mental health issues, and but I still cuss him because there's a level of calculation to what he does. But if he didn't have that belief in himself, he probably wouldn't be where he is.
Of course.
Right? So I can be like, yo, check your ego.
Yeah.
But if the ego's worked for him,
Yeah.
it's like, well,
Yeah, it's just amplified the last
Yeah.
couple of years, but it's always been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get it. I guess it's how you apply it, really.
yeah.
It's like, I was an artist,
Yeah.
and there was no way in hell did I think about managing anyone when I left becoming an artist, just because of I just felt like it was just going to be a massive headache to deal with so many people, egos, as we mentioned, characters.
Yeah.
How difficult? It seems like it's a walk in the park for you, but
It's not. It's
Yeah.
really not. Like I talk about it easily because I think there's coping mechanisms, but and I say this to my partner all the time, like, you know, because we're like, yo, I got to balance home life, kids, work, and people's personalities. And she will hear me on the phone with these clients and the levels of stress that sometimes they may give me, right? And she'll be like, well, how do you remain so calm? I'm just like, you know what? 'Cause I don't take it personal. Because at the end of the day, most artists, not all, but most of them are kind of, they're true to their ambition. They're loyal to their dream. They're not loyal to a person.
Of course.
Right? So if I'm managing an artist and we got paperwork and in the midst of that, they see another opportunity, I stop taking it personal if they want to move on.
Right.
Right? Because they see it as a thing for them to elevate. My thing is, you can elevate in your career, but if you don't have the character to maintain it, you'll fall off just as quickly.
Right.
And I think I've gotten to the point where a lot of the artists that I manage, they're very self-aware and they kind of know who they are as people. So it's easier to manage.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they don't go through their anxieties and their overthinking stages. And I think because I've been through all the overthinking, the depression, the anxiety, there's a level of empathy that I have towards it that makes me go, okay, cool, I get this. And I'm able to to navigate it better than a lot of people would.
I see.
But there's some managers who just see it as like a cash grab.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't
Yeah.
care about the mental health of the client. They'll just be like, look, we can make this amount of money in like a year. Let's just take everything we can get.
Yeah, just keep rolling.
And to be fair, that's why most rappers kind of, you hear them sign and then disappear. Like, they'll get caught up in the fact that they're signed, and they don't understand that's when the work begins. Because now they're contractually obligated to do certain things.
Yes.
And they just feel like they can go on like they've been going on. And like,
And it's not the same.
Like, out of the rappers that have been signed in the UK, how many are still kind of standing?
Yeah, it's not.
Do you know what I mean? Like, not a lot. Like, we've got Dame, Stormzy, AJ Tracy to a certain extent.
I mean, this. Well, I think Skepta probably broke away from like the whole label side of things.
Skepta broke away, but he's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
Right. It seems like with the recent resurgence of grime, or the re-emergence of grime coming, like they seem to have their stuff patterned.
DWE.
Yeah, DWE. Like they've just the mob mentality track hard.
Yeah, tough.
You know what I mean? Like most artists don't go past 18 months.
Right.
Okay.
And that's because they don't have the staying power.
Yes.
Right.
Because music and creativity requires you to show up every single day without fail.
Trust me, yeah.
When you don't feel like it,
Yeah.
when you may be down, you know, you still have to show up and you have to put into it.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, if you had a mortgage and you paid, let's say, £50 every day towards that mortgage versus the lump sum at the end of the month, do you not think the mortgage will come down faster? £50 every day, right?
Yeah.
It's like every day you got to do 1% better than you did before. And most artists just sit on their hands and just, they want to be seen in the events. They want to be...
Of course, on the carpets and the adverts.
Most artists are lazy.
Well, lazy...
When I say lazy, not lazy at the craft, not lazy at what they do talent-wise, but lazy with how they need to maneuver around...
I think
you say?
I think it's that, but it's also like a lack of direction. Yeah. Right? So the people around them tend to be
hangers on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they're trying to be just as famous of the like as of recent, like a lot of the A&Rs are trying to be just as famous as the artists. Or the managers are just trying to be famous as the artists.
Trying to be names.
Yeah. I'm just like, yo, stick to your Twitter and Instagram and just do the work.
Do your work,
You know, you're here to kind of elevate the artist. Like, you don't need to be in the picture. Right? You'll very rarely see me in a picture with one of my artists because I don't feel the need to be in that.
How many artists do you look after now, Ross?
So I've got 5 clients in total. And
here, or are they just...
So 3 are in London, one's in Liverpool. And then one is in the States.
Okay.
And then one's moved over here, but he used to be in LA. So
that Days that we played.
So no, Days surprisingly is not part of the cohort. Like, we met on Clubhouse and I think I was helping him out, and I really I'm still a fan of him, and I still think he's phenomenal.
Because we supported the record.
And I think he's got a unique tone, and but like I think most artists, you let the anxieties or trusting of people kind of get to you. Like, that's one thing that music will do to you. It'll make you very wary and untrustworthy of people.
Yes.
So if someone comes in with an intention of, let me help you, you were side-eyeing that person. Like, you're just, what do you want? And if the person's honest with you and say, you know what, we can make money together, even then it's like, but how much are you going to take?
Or what do I need to do?
Me, I'm always honest with artists, right? I'm just like, if this is a money thing, I'll tell you, yo, let's do this quick in and out. You get your bread, I get my bread, and we keep it moving. If not, I'll be like, yo, I think there's legs here. Like, let's build it. Right? Because I've gone in all in with artists and come out like down. Do you know what I mean? But that was on my part. That was me just being like hasty and being like believing in the talent and not assessing the character. You know what I mean? So music's I always say music management is an extreme sport
It is.
because you're the first person to get slewed
Yes. If shit
Yeah.
goes peak.
and the last person to get thanked.
Yes.
So if the artist is popping, everyone else is getting, the label's getting thanked,
Of course, yeah.
the A&Rs, the
Producers,
stylists, the
writers,
producers, the
yeah.
writers,
Yeah.
and you're just there being like,
I discovered them.
and then the artist falls off a cliff and they're like, yeah, the manager was shit, bro.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
You're the scapegoat.
You're the scapegoat. You're always a scapegoat. And I think a lot of managers we have a chip on our shoulder about that because it's like, even like my friend of mine, like he said to me the other day, yo, like I see the tweets, I'm like, I feel unappreciated. I'm like, I hear that still. Like, if you're doing this shit for appreciation, bro, it's not like you're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
You know, it's like at any job though, like you know that middle management, like they're always getting it in the neck.
Yeah.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's like they have to communicate from up to down and down to up. And usually up ain't listening and down is just complaining. So it's like, it's equivalent of that, except you don't have to report up. You are the up.
Yeah.
So it's just like the buck stops with you. So whatever comes, good, bad, or indifferent, you got to kind of take it in the neck.
Do you feel like when you're managing an artist and that artist is quite self-sufficient, not independent, but just savvy as well as you, things work better?
I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love an artist that will come and say, like, look, I want to learn. Like, teach me this. Like, I wanna learn how to navigate the business. I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, we can do that. The artists that kind of, I guess, jar to a certain extent is the ones that just sit down with their hands out and be like, cool, you do what you do. But if I do what I do, we're doing it my way. And you may not like my way. So, do you want a voice?
Sure.
Speak up. But that is a lot of artists. They kind of, I don't know, like the expectation or the perception of people in music is like we just have like a magic bullet that can just be fired off at any point in time and fix all the problems.
Yeah.
Like, you want £1 million? Yeah, we get you £1 million. Like, we have to sell hard. So like, if an artist is like not doing their job, selling them is hard.
Yeah.
But people might do it off the value of your relationship with them, right? And be like, cool. But then if it goes left, guess who gets it in the neck? Because now the label will stop messing with you because you bought them like a dud. And the artist is like complaining because they're not getting their money.
What they wanted,
You know what I mean? So it's a weird position to be in.
Do you find it easier or do you find it better to manage an act that is new, fresh, or do you find it better to find or manage an act that has more experience?
I think both have pros and cons.
Right.
I'll answer it like this. I like managing artists that are coachable,
Right.
and open to learning.
Good.
No matter what scale they're on.
Yeah.
With the artists that have kind of been doing it themselves, you find it slightly more difficult because even if they've been doing things and they've gotten a certain level of success, there is a level of, well, I've been doing it this, like, what can you bring to my table kind of thing. Equally, sometimes, and this is the dangerous thing about social media is, I may meet an artist, not really anywhere in their journey, 1 or 2 songs out, whatever. And they're spouting to me what's on social media. I'm just like, yeah, that's one level of it.
Yep.
But do you understand why you need to own your masters? Do you understand the terms and conditions of doing that and the consequence of doing that? Do you understand what it is to build leverage? Like, you're talking all this talk and I hear you, but do you understand what it all means? Because you can own your master, that's cool. But if your master's not generating any money,
what's the point? You own zero.
You own nothing.
It's an empty bag.
A lot of artists hear things and think that pertains to them and it's got nothing to do with them.
It's all buzzwords, like, and this is why I think I hated doing panels for a long time because, like, we'll be sitting on panels and then the artist will ask the question of, well, how do I and the answer would be, "Oh, just keep on going." And I started asking like questions like, "Well, why aren't we just giving them like what it is?" And
what
like,
the keep on going really is.
And then the thing I got back was well, they don't really want to hear that, because if you tell them like what the structure things are,
that's too much.
Most people are going, like, for example,
Yeah.
Morgan, if you see £1 million sitting on the ground over there, yeah, and all you have to go do is pick it up, would you not just go and pick it up?
Yeah.
Right? But if there was £1 million over there and there was £100,000 over there, but the £100,000 was easy to get to, which one would you take? Like, people are always looking for the easy access, the easy way. That's why, like, you know, and the thing is, I don't knock anybody that does stuff like illicitly, right? But if we call a spade, most of it is just to get easy money, right? It's quick money, but you don't have to work for it, right? But really work for it, and that's just the human condition. Yeah, like, why do you think like people play lotto? Yeah, easy money. Yeah, right. Why do you think someone who would be like, if people get locked out of their Instagram accounts all the time because someone's jumped to the DMs and be like, "Yo, if you give me £50, I can give you 500." Easy money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I think the artists that make it really understand there is no easy. You have to pick your heart. There isn't an easy. Because what you always give up something to attain a thing. Right? So if I'm in a relationship and me and the girl are going strong, my boys will have to understand there's a level of time that I have to give up to make that work. Yeah. Being an artist and a man, there's no different, right? Running a business, there's no different. Like, you have to give up X, Y, and Z to get here. Yeah. But the problem is most people want to do everything at the same time. Right. So what I mean by that is, say as a manager, I've got you signed to a label. Yeah. You've now got a deadline on an album. Say the album is due in March 10th. Yeah. I've said to you that the deadline is March 10th. We've got it in the calendar. Yeah. Submit the album. Yeah. Right? Mixed, mastered. Yeah. You've only got 10 tracks done. We're still 3 tracks out. Yeah. But you choose to go Hakkasan and party it up. Action and consequence. Yeah. Right? So it's like, that's where a lot of artists fail. They really try and live life while, like, anybody who's made anything, Jeff Bezos, what's the brother's name from Facebook? Zuckerberg. Elon, like, they've all kind of given up stuff so that they can build their thing. Yeah. And then enjoy it afterwards. Yeah. Like Rihanna. Yeah. Did you hear anything about Rihanna being in a relationship, Chris Brown? Yeah. Right? In her successful period, she was just focused on her thing. Yeah. Yeah. And if she did have relationships, we didn't know about it. Yeah. Right? Because she was just focused on her artist thing. Right? So it's like, which tells you now that she's not bothered about music no more because she's having babies and. Well, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Now she's at the point where she can live her life, right? Yeah. She's at the point where she can live her life and not really care about what other people think. She's a legend. She's already a legend. She gave us a little thing for the Black Panther thing, and she was like, "Hold that, hold that." Cool. It could be another 5 years till we see the album, but you know what I mean. It is what it is. Yeah. But most artists don't understand, like, there's a level of sacrifice that if you want to be, you can be good, but good's dime a dozen now. To be great, you really have to, you and the person, whoever you're with, your manager, your business partner, your bandmate, have to lock in and be like, this is, like you guys with the podcast have to lock in and been like, forego the money, forego the fame, forego what things look like, and we're building this. That's exactly where we are, and it's exactly where I came from. Again, being an artist back in the day, there was so much things that I needed to do in terms of writing, studio. I was managed, I was signed, I was traveling, touring,
how I met Drizzy was through all of that, and then coming around full circle to do the pod. I've always known what it's taken to put the work in. Drizzy's always known what it's taken to put the work in, and I feel like consistency and belief and also passion helps a lot. But as you said, you're gonna have to take sacrifices where you might not make no money.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to take sacrifices where you're doing this from the ground up. So you're not going to see all the adulation straight away. But as soon as you keep building on that, you will start seeing things come to fruition, which is why we have someone like you today. Because what happened with our pod was through social media, you meet people and you talk to people and you build a rapport, which then you go, it'd be nice to talk to him. It'd be nice to talk to him, which is why we've had Kojo and Bushkin and Ash and all of that. And it's amazing how how I've seen it is the work that I put in being an artist is the same thing we said at the beginning of Mike, is not burning bridges with people you've met along the way.
100%.
So you've rubbed shoulders with people, stayed up, take care of yourselves, love, link, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And now I need these people now to come and sit down and chat to me.
And the thing is, like, I think people get it twisted when you talk about maintaining relationships, right? You never know when you need someone. And I don't say that in like a selfish way.
No, but I understand that.
But you never know when you might need someone's help. And something simple as you sending me a birthday message, I might remember that. Yeah. And been like, yo, he actually showed a bit of love. Like, let me reciprocate kind of thing. And I say this to artists all the time. If you jump in my DMs, don't jump in with links. Don't tell me about your music. Tell me about, first of all, ask me how I'm doing, because I may be having a shit day, right? But outside of that, tell me a bit about you. Don't tell me you're next up. Don't tell me none of that. I just want to know as an individual what you're about. And then ask me if it's cool to share your music. And if that's the case, I'll say, yeah, send it through. And I'll give you honest feedback about it. And we move from there. But I think, and to be fair, I guess if we do what we do, we put ourselves in a firing line, and that's what it is. But I think just as individuals, sometimes it can be difficult to manage like the egos and you know, like you guys didn't start out with the intention of doing this a certain way, and you've had to adjust, and that's cool.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think understanding people's characters and personalities and motivations. That's why when I have conversations with artists, when I'm vetting them, I'm like, what's your motivation? Yeah. And if money's anywhere in there, I'm just kind of like, let's see how this goes. Yeah. Because the minute time money comes into it.
Yeah, it's money. Money should never be your motivation at first. Obviously, you want to build, but money should never be that. And I feel like, as you said, if you lead with it, that's when you're leading with money. Yeah. If we led with money, I'm sure I'm not even sure. I'm positive me, Joe, and Drizzy wouldn't be here.
And that's the thing. It's like, I mean, as I guess you guys are season 6, so you've been going for a fair few years. Yeah. What is it that you guys kind of see for yourselves, and how has like what we've spoken about, ego, how has that affected your thing to its current form, and has it affected the overall, I guess, vision that you guys are locked into?
It's a good question.
He just podded on us there.
Yeah, he just podded on us.
Yeah.
I
go ahead. You go first.
I just think, well, I'll speak for me, and then Drizzy can obviously put his 2 pence in. I think I've always had a clear vision for the podcast, always from day one. But I was always flexible because I knew that I had to work with people like Drizzy, like Trim at the time, Joe. Joe came on board Joe's been on board for 2 seasons now, right? 2? Yeah. So in my head, I've always, because I'm experienced now as a man, I know no man is an island, and things are always going to change, and you have to have that flexible mindset to go, okay, cool. I have to be willing to accept that my ideas or my vision might take a turn.
Yeah.
But I feel like once you have a conscious outlook on where you're trying to go, everybody comes with you. And it's all about the melting pot of what we put into it.
Yeah.
What Drizzy puts into it is as important as what Joe puts into it.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
Even the guests, as I said, this conversation we're having is fantastic because speaking to a music manager, people now will watch this online and see what it entails and what artists go through. And there's a lot of information, which is what the Fast Food Podcast is, food for thought, information. So yeah, I mean, that's how I've always looked at this podcast. Where it goes, even where it started is not where it is today.
Nah, I mean, when I joined, well, I was a guest. I was a rotating guest. It was a case of, yo, Frex, can you, like, when Morgs hollered at me to come on the show as a guest, to just fill in that fourth spot as a guest. It wasn't like, yeah, you're in. It was just like, yo, we just need another voice on this. All right, cool. I put it in my calendar. So it was a reoccurring thing in my calendar. So I knew anytime he hollered, I've already got in my calendar for that period of time. I'd be on the pod. So if anyone said to me, oh, what are you doing around this time to this time? I'd always say, I'm not about possibly, but I'll let you know nearer to the time. Me personally, I just want to have a thriving podcast that is, first and foremost, it's always fun.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's going on in the world, people know when they listen to the Fast Food Podcast, they're guaranteed to get just fun, highlight moments to make them laugh, to make them crackle. If they're having a bad day and listen to our pod, something in there is going to make them go, you know what, man? All right, let me just get through this, and then tomorrow's a new day. Ideally, I want a pop-in pod. Like I sent him a message the other day. I took a screenshot on Apple Podcast. There was a picture of Morgan and myself, and then the next pod next to it was $1 million worth of game, like side by side, like, and it was just like, that's crazy. I just want a pop-in pod, a pod that makes people happy. Obviously, a pod that can self-contain itself to the point where financially, at some point, it's gonna be like doing its own thing. It becomes its own monster. Yeah. We have a network. We can have people bring their pod to our platform, and we give them the foundation to just run with it. Again, helping them. They have the idea, bring it to us. Let's see how we can incorporate into what we're doing, run with it. And then we're just helping more people grow and build on our shoulders because we laid the foundation to do what they got to do. So that's if I could make it happen tomorrow, the Fast Food Podcast would be the Fast Food Podcast Network, and we've got like 7 different pods on there that caters to 7 different audiences. Yeah. And we still do our one, and everyone is just, in my naive head, everyone's just one big happy family. Teletubby, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? That's me. You know what I'm saying?
Man said, I love you, you love me.
Yeah. We're one big happy family. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it, man. Do you know what I mean? That's good. And our camera guy, Joe.
All right, so last question from me to you guys.
Okay.
Right. I've been seeing a lot of quote unquote red pill / alpha male / all that rhetoric, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's helpful to the male community, or do you think it does us a disservice and is detrimental?
That's a good question.
I think Drizzy. I should have gone first on the last one, isn't it? Okay, I think we as men need to have more open conversations with each other.
100%.
I think that what the problem is with us as men is that we sometimes fall into the trap of we're trying to pander or we're trying to, cater to an audience that, excuse my French, his headphones on, right? Cool, excuse my French, don't give a fuck about us. Whereas we need to really cater and, to the people that look like me and you.
For sure.
I think that we're in a society where they're making us feel like the only way to get on is you have to do certain things away from your community. But realistically, your community is only as strong as the amount you invest into it. And it hurts my heart when I see someone come from the community and they go live somewhere else, for example, and they claim that somewhere else as their own, and they invest in that community as opposed to the community that was there for them when no one else cared for them. And they don't invest back on that because it kind of reminds me of when I had it hard.
Yeah.
But the community that you came from needs you to stay there as a beacon of hope, that the next person that's trying to do what you're doing can look and say, you know what, he's from the same surroundings as me. I need him to, the fact he's still here is making me have that aspiration to keep going on the days when I just don't want to keep going. No, but he's from this, he did it as well. I think, and also I just think it's another ploy they're trying to put to separate us as well.
I think there's that, but there's also the argument of look at what Nipsey was trying to do. Right? If you want to bring it back to music, like look what Nipsey was trying to do, or what he was doing more so. And look at how that
happened. Someone who grew up in a certain environment, Nipsey could have easily gone and lived been Ho's neighbor or whatever.
Yeah.
He tried to invest back into what helped him through his hard times get to where he is.
Yeah.
And how did what he invested in pay him back on the same streets that he was trying to improve, man? And it's that, when you think about it, really think about it, Nipsey's story is very, very heartbreaking.
To your question about the red pill and that community, I don't feel like there's enough balance there.
Okay.
I do think there's a lane, which is there's a clear lane for them because they're getting their views.
Yeah.
And people are watching it. But I feel like there's not enough balance in it because there's not enough balance in it because everyone's different in their own way when it comes to men are different in all different facets.
Yeah.
And we have different beliefs, outlooks.
Yeah.
We also look different, which means we will command or we will attract different types of
conversations, energies, everything, opportunities.
So when you're pilling us to that question, you're pilling. It's very. There's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
I do understand the idea of it in terms of making men feel a lot better about themselves or making men understand what their worth is to society. I get that. But I feel like we need to have more balance, which is why I have never, and I would not go down that road with my pod.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I think you guys mentioned Derek Jackson earlier.
Yeah. We did, yeah.
I think when it comes to like that community, if it was, and this is my personal opinion, if it was to help, I think I'd be like, hey, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I love the idea. Like, I love the idea of it, but it's not helping to a certain extent because it's creating situations where it's becoming about the money and the views and and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So,
but it's about, again, like we're having a conversation with you about your experiences, which is the most important thing. It's about your experience. When you're talking to an audience about things you've gone through, it's easier, it's digestible. It's somebody who's going through it, who has been through it personally.
Yeah.
When you go through relationships, that's why we talk about relationships. When you talk about marriage, I can talk about it because I live it. So it's easier for me to talk about, and it's more palatable to somebody who doesn't understand it so much coming from me. So when you with the podcast and with the information that we want to deliver to our audience, I always want it to be a balanced. I want the information to be balanced so that, okay, cool, yes, there's this, but there's also this.
two sides of the coin.
Is you see what I'm saying?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
You're a music manager, and
Yeah.
these are the pros, and there's a cons, and everything else. I'm sure Joe goes through 1,000,001 things on a day-to-day basis with equipment, traveling,
dealing with requirements
dealing
of artists.
Yes, money, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, but listen, Ross, we're gonna have you back on the show if you're willing to.
Come on.
Because I feel like now we're properly being introduced. This is the first time we've actually
this is the first of mine. First time we physically met.
We've had 1,000,001 conversations. So
Yeah. And the thing is, like, online, I'm super quiet. Like, I sit down and observe people. I hear people talking, I'm like... But I think I think the whole... When Morgs, like, I was like, Morgs is...
Yeah, when you was in the room, when Ross was in the room, I'm in the room, it just felt like home. It felt like, I could chill. I could chill here for a while, man.
It's just like, cool. But
So is there anybody you want to shout out? Is there anything, any of your handles you want to let people know they can get you on?
Sure. I mean,
artists,
I'm super bad at social media, but if you want to follow me, it's at Ross Wills, WILSS. On all social media platforms. Yeah. Like, that's me.
Thank you. Anything else you want to add, Drizzy Freckles?
Nah, we can save it for another time. But it's just good that you mentioned balance, because everyone wants to know the way to get to the end goal, which is the glitz and the glamour and all that. But it's the things along the way.
I just think it's all about it being a byproduct.
Yeah.
Right? It shouldn't be the goal, it should be the byproduct.
Yes.
So if I wanna get a 5-bedroom house, 6-bedroom house, what are the goals I need to attain to get the goal isn't the house, the goal is the smaller steps to get to the house. It took me a while to get to that realization. Because I used to be, I want to sell 1 million records and not understanding the smaller steps to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And I think once us as a community grasps that, I think we'll be a lot better, man. Because it then creates balance amongst
100%.
all of us.
For sure. Yeah, man. Well, pleasure having you on the show.
Pleasure being. I'm missing my flag though. Like,
I'm
missing my flag.
It's actually there, We could have, now we think about it, we could have pulled it out there, but it's there.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Man. Yeah,
respect.
round of applause,
Yeah, man. Each and every time.
Big up Jojo behind the camera.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Come on.
In the building.
Jojo, man.
We'll definitely reconvene at a period of time. And
Yeah, man. I think, it's just... I think this is my second podcast I've done. So.
Yeah.
The first one that's videoed, so I'm gonna be looking at myself on the screen like, but it's all good.
Yeah, man. When you see what it's like, when you see what, because Reems was there.
Yeah,
man. Next time, come and host with us. Come and chat with us about other things. Talk about other subject matters. Willing to do that, man.
of course, man.
Let me know.
Whatever you need, man. I'm here.
All right.
Respect.
Cool,
Listen, Drizzy Saka Freckles,
Morgan Twerk Franklin Heights.
Ross Wilson, special guest.
Yes, man.
Thank
We'll see you in a fortnight.
Yeah, look, I understand. You're in the dark with the sharks, it's a bloodbath. We got the mics, it's a fight, had a tough start.